If there's one game you don't want to miss today, it will be this one. Our highest seeded matchup between our first place and third place team of spring in PSG Talon versus Machi. This one is guaranteed to be a great showdown. Before we get into the game proper itself, first a warm, big thank you to our sponsors in CTBC Bank, China Airlines, and Chonghua Telecom. Thank you for your support of the PCS. You are what makes this league possible. Now, let's get into it. These two teams have been at the pinnacle of PCS for quite a while, and during 2020, the first year of PCS, only these two teams made it to the finals. So we have a lot of fireworks going on between them. First off, it will be Machi Esports, Lee Kai in the top lane, Gemini in the jungle, Jimmy-un in mid, and Atlan plus Koala in the bottom side.
Yeah, and this Machi roster here, adding in Lee Kai here, I love the look of the young guns, adding into just an extra dimension to the old guard of Gemini, right? You have Lee Kai and Jimmy-un. I love these solo lanes, and the only issue here for Machi is how they can shore up their bot half. Atlan, Koala, really just the one big glaring weakness. And if you look at the other two teams in the top three, well, Unified Kaiwing, Doggo Kino, those 2v2s a lot more terrifying.
And there they are on your screen right now. Unified and Kaiwing, the best damage dealers of the entire league here. And then we have Hanabi plus River and Maple onto the top side. No slouches themselves. They have been playing, I think, the most successful tempo sort of teams that we've seen. Akali plus Twisted Fate coming out from Maple, making sure they can make picks. River is on a tear right now. He's actually averaging over 9 kills a game. Currently kill leader in the PCS at 28. And then you have Hanabi, who's also playing not weak side champions. He's actually been terrific on the Gwen as well. So honestly, PSG have no weaknesses, and firing on all cylinders.
And the biggest question coming into this game is, how do you stop River without losing everywhere else? Because we saw Alpha, they were able to stuff River at the start of the game. 0-3-0 for River at the start with the Xin pick, but that game ended in 20 minutes, and what was the scoreline for River? He ended up with 14 kills and a pentakill. So you need to find a way to stop River without getting dumpstered in a different area of the map.
Machi X look like they are still going to prioritize that bot lane first, taking away Thresh plus, I almost was going to say that champion is Doggo, but of course it's Aphelios, we all know that. And also making sure that Maple doesn't get his LeBlanc. PSG is just a completely different beast. They can play a lot of different ways, and bot lane plus mid jungle duo priority seems to be their port of calling for now. PSG going to ban away pretty much standard meta picks across the board, not really deviating for Machi X, Nocturne Zinzao plus Akali off the table. And from what we've seen, Gwen plus Viego open here.
Yep.
Machi X seems like they will go for the Viego first.
It's just going to be a trade, most likely, of those two picks. We'll see what River decides to opt into. Going for his jungler could be the Lee Sin, of course, still very flexible, especially for this roster here. Hanabi's shown that he can play it at MSI, and Maple, we know that he plays a wide variety of champions, so not too surprised if they go ahead lock that in. And I would hope that they add the Gwen to their next pick, but we've seen stranger things. Oh, Renekton not bad.
Not exactly strange, but another great flex pick as well. This is a very difficult draft to pin down if you're Machi X. Lucian, again, one of those champions that can go into multiple lanes, but at the end, they do decide to go for the Gwen. This is the champion that Hanabi won an MVP on earlier in this week, and so far has been a power pick across the board. Machi X have to respawn right here. Most likely a jungle pick coming out, or, you know, Viego could be a jungle pick itself. We have seen a couple bans here and there, but Ziggs is, I always love Ziggs. It's such a fun champion to just watch. He's really, really safe. And if you're playing weak side, probably the best option here.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead, lock in the Ziggs. Could still go into the mid lane for Jimian. However, with Atlin and Qua's kind of playstyle, you would imagine that this Ziggs goes into that bot lane to help neutralize that matchup against Unified and Kaiwing, but Jace will be the pickup as well. So it allows, if you go for something like a Ziggs in that bot lane, it really facilitates a lot more AD solo lanes like the Jace and the such.
Getting a good mix of damage down here, and also heading towards a bit of a poke comp. We see both of these champions in Jace and Ziggs having a lot of range. PSG, on the other hand, they're thinking about picking up Varus. This is another very strong champion in the meta. Can play towards Drake fights, has that crowd control. Very few AD carries have the same amount of engage as this one does. They will lock it in for Unified. So PSG looking to shore up all of their counters against a poke comp as well in the first 3 picks. A very comfortable grab coming out from them. Contemplating their bans so far. Definitely have to take Jimian into consideration. I'd say maybe the Zoe here, but we'll see what happens.
Oh yeah, the Zoe would provide some long-range poke and engage as well for the side of really either of these teams. Like if Machi X, they will lock that in for themselves. They get insane range. Yes, they lack a little bit of frontline, but what does it matter if you die from 2,000 range, you know? And for the side of PSG, it helps match some of that range on Machi.
Yeah, and for Machi, we're going to see more engage being taken off the table. For PSG as well, kind of interestingly enough, Koala has been a very standout Rakan player, so making sure he doesn't get that counter engage. PSG continue to contemplate their options right here. Will be the Alistar at the very end, so taking away a lot of these potential counter engage champions or keep away champions that Koala could be playing. You're going to see the last ban out for Machi X. It has to be targeted at support or mid lane here. Lee Sin's still not locked down, still not committed, but usually Lee Sin has been going top or jungle, very few mid Lee Sins, and they will take away another engaged support in the Nautilus.
Yeah, so removing the big primary engaged supports in the second phase, as we see the Leona, Nautilus, and the Alistar taken away. It could be a Braum to try and mitigate some of this poke coming out, at least from the Jace. Not as much from the Ziggs, but can still do a whole lot against it. But Kaiwing covering the Bard is perfect in this situation. It gets very immobile backline carries in the Jason Ziggs. So I love that pick here. And it's just a matter of, well, they're going to save this last pick for either River or one of these solo lanes. So still plenty of potential here. And for Machi, what do they opt for? I don't think it's the Pike here, but there's definitely potential because of how squishy some of these champions are on PSG.
Don't see the Pike indeed. Instead, it is going to be the Rise, most likely into the mid lane. But wait a minute, just as I say that, Pike is still going to be flashed around here. I'm not sure about that Pike Ziggs lane, though. It doesn't sound particularly powerful. We'll see if that's the lock-in. Koala seems to be... he has a very awkward expression here, and he still goes for it. Koala is laughing himself. I think he's trying to convince himself that this is going to work. So we'll see how it does in lane, but it does have a lot of kill potential. You know, if they get the resets down, Machi X have a terrifying composition if they manage to get that first kill.
Yeah, for Machi with this Pike, it does enable a lot of snowball potential here, and given the fact that you have Ziggs, you're going to allow the Pike to really roam around the map, but PSG, they answer back perfectly with this TF, being able to make sure they spot out where some of these map movements are coming in from Machi, and you know, the Bard can also match the Pike relatively well, so it's going to be a lot of back and forth, very much a rotation game going into this game right here.
We have both of these teams with roaming supports. Both of them have globals. We see from the mid lane, and both of them very strong laning champions at the top side. So a lot of mirroring here on both sides, and it does seem like it's going to be a very, very heavy execution game, which I always love. Coming from the LPL that enjoys our clown fiestas and our mechanical showdowns, we definitely want to see some of that in the PCS as well.
Yeah, and this is probably one of Machi's stronger points in that they're a lot better when it comes to playing it a little bit more methodical, making sure that they have set plays, and of course PSG they play every single style under the sun when it comes to PCS. So this is going to be a fantastic chess game here, and I cannot wait to dive into it.
Let's say PSG probably do have a little bit of a faster ignition in terms of the mid jungle. Lee Sin plus Twisted Fate can get out and do damage a little bit earlier than Viego. We typically do see Viego as a one mythic and then into team fight sort of jungle champion. Not as fast early on, but this is just so much fun. I can't believe we're actually seeing something like this. Tons of burst damage in the bot lane, lots of mobility on both sides. It will feel like sort of an wuxia novel of sorts, where we have people flying all across the board. Thumbs up right off the bat, coming in from Lee Kai in the top lane, and we are heading onto the rift between our first and third seed coming out of the spring split. Your highest seed matchup we have on the day. You definitely don't want to miss this one. And we're getting right into it. Machi X already throwing some question mark pings onto the other side of the map. But we're not going to get a strong invade from either as we take a look at the runes right here. Ooh, Hail of Blades coming out from Koala. Wow, that is aggressive.
Hail Blades from Koala, just try and get as much burst damage in these trades as possible. I imagine you're going to see Koala really roam around the map as soon as possible. Atlin, as the Ziggs, going to be fine in farming out the lane, but we're going to go straight into a pause here. Only 66 seconds into the game.
Let's not try to extrapolate from that, because I'm still getting PTSD from yesterday. Hopefully there will be no power outages and we can get back as soon as possible. I do want to ask you, at the start of it, where do you think the sparks are going to fly first?
When it comes to early on, I think it really just has to come into that top side, right? The Jace and Gwen matchup, very, very volatile. If Lee Kai ever oversteps his bounds, Hanabi definitely can punish with a Twisted Fate and Lee Sin in tow very, very quickly. And on the flip side, like Lee Kai, if he plays his ranges properly, he's really going to put a really good number onto this Gwen pick and really slow Hanabi's potential of scaling through this game.
Well, they each know how this matchup usually goes. Hanabi's level 1 brush cheese is not going to work out. We have seen a lot of fight to the deaths just early level 1, level 2 from these champions. It can get very, very close. Slip and slash, extremely powerful. And with max stacks and conquerors, Hanabi, Gwen can actually deal a lot of damage early on. Meanwhile, in the bottom side, neither of these bot lanes, I believe, actually gave leashes. So just straight up laning right off the bat. Unify getting a little bit more damage with that hail of arrows and tagging Atlin just once. Also, they have to respect Kaiwing hit at level 2 a little bit early. That's something you always have to remember with Bard, is that you can get some pretty fast level.
Oh, they're going
aggro. And the flash gone directly, but Kaiwing also hits level 2, so that trade will fizzle. And it is a all-out summoner trade right at the start.
Big level 2 coming in from Koala as he really tries to force that level advantage to its max there, and Kaiwing forced to use both of his summoners there. That's going to be really important here. So both supports without their summoners, they're going to have to play really careful with these junglers. Both of these junglers definitely could try and make a splash in that bot side without those support tools.
Ooh, Koala walking up directly to Unify, but doesn't manage to get the hook in. And if we look at the map right now, it seems like Machi are very aware of where this Lee Sin could potentially be. They ping him out exactly on the dot, but they still want to get the level 3 trade maybe in there. They get a bit of damage, but at this point, they do have to back off. Let's see if they're going to be able to deny the hold. PSG walk up and make sure the wave stays in a very uncomfortable position here. They do spot out River in the river, no pun intended. And, you know, that Lee Sin has backed out of vision, I think really cleverly outside of Machi X's vision, so they still have to play relatively respectful and safe here. Unified once again dodging by going forward. What stuff. A nifty play. Koala takes a bunch of damage, but does have the regen to heal up.
Yeah, plenty of regen in this lane, given the fact that Bard has his heal shrines, and Koala just as Pike has a lot of innate regen here. And now it's going to be junglers on opposite ends of the map once again, so River trying to find some way to get into that top side perhaps, and for Gemini it's just continuously clearing out, make sure he's there for his lanes if he needs to be, but for the most part try and get to that level 6 as fast as possible and get to that first mythic item.
In the meantime, Hanabi going for a successful trade against Lee Kai. Still behind by about 5 CS, but at this point with full snip stacks, he's going to be taking control of this lane so far. In the meantime, we do see Maple inching very, very close to that level 6. He is going to get a bit of help as we see Kai Wing plus River roaming to the right side of the map. This is something they love to do. And they do spot a Gemini very close to this area as well. They can definitely tell by the Haru path being used there. So they're just going to back out, know that they can't really find that pure 3v1 kill. And I'll be once again going in. And this looks like a pretty good trade for Lee Kai. Just making sure that Hanabi has to fight him with no stacks.
Yeah, really nice trade window for Lee Kai there. He's going to be able to crash this wave here and go ahead, recall. Has a 12 CS advantage at the moment, but some of that will get
Koala runs into Kai Wing inside the brush, takes him out of the magical journey, but that will be it as the wave really isn't in position for them to find the trade. Sorry for interrupting you. Please continue. I got a little bit too high feet. Nothing happened there.
It looked like it could have been a nice little trade window, but then you remember that it is still Ziggs. And he's not level 6, so the burst damage not quite there. It's going to be all on Koala.
Does find the Bone Skewer, but the jungler is in wait here, and they do have the question mark pings right after the trade. They definitely felt like something was a little bit fishy watching Unified walk up like that, and I think they do expect Lee Sin to be around this lane at this point. We do have Atlan with the TP, so he can come directly back to lane. I don't think we're going to find any more trades off of this one. Just some lane holding from Koala's side. And we have some roams again from Kai Wing. Maple already level 6, so you know a 2v2 could instantly turn into a 3v2 if Machi X try to force this one.
Definitely possibilities to just turn on a dime as Kai Wing. He's going to have to use that magical journey to get on out of dodge. And now for the side of Machi, you're going to kind of set yourself up in a bit of a 1-1-1 setup where you pretty much have 3 solo lanes and then 2 junglers, because you have Gemini and you've got Koala now, especially with Atlan off of his first recall. He has lost chapter. He's got plenty of mana sustain at this point in time that you can just lane 1v2. So Atlan also able to kind of contribute from long range with that Mega Inferno Bomb as well. So this is Machi's timing window to really try and stretch the map.
Yeah, they have that wave clearing lead like you mentioned, and they've been doing a very good job at getting deep wards into river side of the map. They also ping out that Maple might be heading towards the top lane. However, Lee Kai very cleverly instantly pushes his full wave out, so really denies the tower dive here. It's an experienced grown man move coming out from the rookie top laner Machi X. Hanabi is going to try to entice him with a couple of trades right here, but he's not going to bite. He's going to wait until Maple shows himself back onto the map. And now it's Machi X's turn to make the roam. They are spotted, though. Atlan showing himself on the riverside brush, but Machi X still commit to the full bot side roam for the Herald. River is in position for the steal, And PSG, instead of getting the plate spot lane, they do decide to come up and try to contest this Herald. Oh, actually, they know they're beaten here. They will just move backwards. And I think this is one of those instances where Talon can really use his ult just to clear the wave.
Yeah, Talon missing out on a bit of an opportunity there, but they are able to get themselves a Rift Herald. Usually I would prefer you to just get the Rift Herald onto the Ziggs if you have the Ziggs there, because he can just instantly blow up a tower, right? He's got an execution at 25% with that satchel charge, so to not hand it over to him, I feel like that's a bit of a mistake, but here we're having a game.
About to get jumped right here, and there's really nothing he can do. Saves the flash, goes down. I feel like if the opponent team is running a Twisted Fate, you have to give them a kill here or there somewhere.
Yep.
But a little bit unfortunate for Likai that it did happen in his lane. Lane state definitely not favorable. We will find out where this Herald actually goes. I love that idea, though. Using the Herald to get the first tower seems like a really sick move. You're guaranteed 2 plates right off the bat, and then the Herald puts in another 2. So it would be a great chain of events. I'm sorry, the Herald gets 2, and then the 25% allows you to finish off. On the flip side, Hanabi with no flash, no escapes, is going to fall down. And this is tit for tat coming out from Machi X.
Both top laners overextending, as it should be. As it will be PSG. Well, they end up conceding that one, and it's Rift Herald tossed up top side to invest money into Jumian to try and get this Rise snowballing. And I would say that Rise, when you compare Rise and TF, you would definitely favor Rise in a side lane. So perhaps a better teleport roaming champion in the Rise, getting him extra gold will definitely do wonders for him.
And I think you can see the priority on Machi X as well. They prefer to get gold on their solo lanes compared to their bot lane. Talon, as long as you don't die, you clear the wave, that's good. We chill. So Machi X preferring to funnel the gold elsewhere onto the map, maybe to accelerate Likai's lead over Gwen at this point. And we do have some first glimpses at the Drake right now. Full wave cleared and full river control. Machi X, however, throwing a bit of a curveball. You know, PSG, if I'm PSG, I might be thinking that, okay, Machi are definitely setting up for this Drake, but no, in comes Gemini.
But the healing,
but I don't think he gets the stun, and Hanabi nearly gets the 1v2. Still could be quite dangerous for him, as Likai is going to venture forward for another plating, but that gank does fizzle.
Yeah, and Hanabi, he plays that perfectly, as well as you can, and uses the Conqueror with, of course, the Gwen capabilities to the maximum potential, keeps himself alive with all the healing on that kit. And unfortunately for the side of Machi, they don't have heal cut, so they aren't able to prevent that healing from coming through, and does fizzle out. Now G-Man's in trouble.
Fate does come down for Kaiwing, gonna go. Wow, they don't actually get the gold card before G-Man with quick fingers gets the flash over the walls. Very nicely done right there by both sides. The roam for the flash. Yep. But the play does fizzle, and if you look at it, Maple's still actually holding on to his Destiny Gate, and they're heading straight for Talon at this point. Koala sees the play, is going to get the stun down.
Under tower, though.
Still goes through, and the ult chain CC comes down. It's going to be double kill. Teleport from the top lane, but Likai doesn't find the snipe into Maple. River looking for some more blood here, and PSG get out completely unscathed.
Yeah, PSG just calling out the play just a little bit faster. And yes, Machi did kind of have an inkling of what would be happening. They were just a little bit too slow, as teleport comes in from Likai way too late. The rotation's not quite there to allow Likai to then go aggressive after that teleport. And PSG, they get themselves 2 free kills there, and it really is just going tit for tat across the map here in a matchup of 2 very macro-focused teams.
That's a beautiful play coming in. Once again, they had their sights set on Talon, but Koala is running interference. Everfrost goes down, and Maple has to give that one up. Unable to get the pincer once more. Talon definitely feels very special this game. PSG has been paying him so many different visits. They clearly have him as sort of the weak spot on Machi X. Meanwhile, Maple just finds a random gold card here. And through all of that play, it also does force Machi X to rotate here onto the top lane. I'm not sure they actually wanted to do that, but it definitely was needed. Gemini going to get found in the jungle, but he does get the Heartbreaker into the Blast Cone, saves the flash, and gets 2 flashes on the other end. That was a pretty nice play from Gemini. A definite win for Machi X, despite Gemini being the one out of position.
Yeah, Gemini with a veteran move there. Cool, calm, and collected. Just gets out of dodge very, very easily and gets just a massive summoner win as now
Koala finds the Bone Skewer over the wall, but he might have found a little bit too many members than he was asking for. River also comes across and finds the kill. He's able to hop over the wall. Tempered Fate sticks Jimian to his location. He's got no flash, no summoner. He's going down. River finds a second kill, and Maple picks up the third. A bit of a massacre right in front of the Herald for PSG.
And PSG, they find yet another skirmish where they're able to rotate just a little bit faster here. They're able to get, well, it starts out with Kylie getting hooked in, but River's right there, Unified's right there, and this is the difference, right? G-Man, he has to split off, he has to take a little bit of a longer route here, and that means aside of PSG, they're able to finish off Atlan, and then they can turn. They have that Destiny Gate coming on in. Yes, they trade 1 out, but they're able to get 2 in exchange for that actor fight, and it doesn't stop.
When we come back, Jimian, it looks like he's gonna fall down once more. River on the cusp of fighting. Oh, he misses the Sonic Wave, but Maple is there for him. They do pick up the kill. Gemini, on the other hand, trying to take down Kaiwi, but he does have that perfect timing. Double kill for River. They get 1, and Gemini gets the reset forward, but you know, he couldn't escape there. Want to put as much damage as possible. Still goes down. I don't really know what happened to start that one off. PSG are just keeping the tempo super tight and bloody.
Yeah, PSG, they just keep the tempo going. Right after that fight, they immediately look for the next one, and this is just really suffocating pressure coming in from PSG. Machi X, you don't have a whole lot of room to breathe, and it's starting to get really taken out of their comfort zone. They like a lot more set plays here, and PSG amping up the pace. As you can see, the gold difference over time, it's just been a really big jump in the gold after those turret plates fell off the map, and PSG just in firm control at the moment.
Yeah, PSG are really riding this Twisted Fate to its maximum value. It's so hard to play a rotational game versus a TF. We could see in all these skirmishes, there's pings going across the map and just calling out how fast can Machi X actually reach the battlefield. So PSG know when to retreat, they know when to be very aggressive, and Machi X has yet to get the reset game on. We are waiting for that death from below, plus the Heartbreaker combination to get massive amounts of gold and that massive swipe onto PSG. This might be Machi X's chance, but once again, the Destiny Gate is going to call out all of the targets, even through the camouflage. And now we have Maple going in, forces a flash out. Temper Fate goes down onto 2 targets into the backline. Jimian gets stuck. River goes in and finds another kill. That should be everything here. This gold card does land onto Lekai, but they can't find a finishing kill here. Another good hail of arrows by Unified to make sure the disengage is clean, and PSG walk away with another favorable trade.
PSG, they get themselves a dragon, but wow, what a shock blast coming in from Lekai. Gets quite a few members down very low, but unfortunately, they aren't able to put the finishing touches onto those kills. Atlan doesn't have that ult cooldown up available, and does mean that PSG, they're going to be able to get out with pretty much the maximum. As one of the interesting things here is, of course, some of these items. You look at Unified, he's actually gone for a mythic-less build, as he does have the tier stacking, but went for a Serpent's Fang rush here and then opted straight into the Umbral Glaive. So with this Umbral Glaive completion, you can really see that they are looking to really suffocate the map, strip away as much vision, and make this a rotational game and open them up the map as much as possible for Maple to take advantage with his Destiny game.
Good dodge coming in by Jimian, but I don't think he really wants to take the Realm Warp. River comes in with the interrupt, gets the damage on. The snipe nearly comes through. Jimian still can't escape his fate as River just finds the Sonic Wave to chase him down. Another great catch here, and it seems like Jimian can't find any safe haven on the map. He will continue to snowball this with the Herald going down into the mid lane. It felt like a misclick here by River, or maybe the timer was just coming out, but either way, it's still a decent play, as they do have the numbers advantage into the mid lane, and they're just going to use that to make sure to strip away the outside tower. Maple is in rotation. They don't actually get it, though, and Machi X hang on for a little while longer.
Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate that River has the Rift Herald. I would say that Lee Sin's probably the one champion you don't want Rift Herald on, because you really want to have that open ward slot to make ward hop plays. And I really think he just wanted to ward hop over the wall, and unfortunately stuck with a Rift Herald on that word key.
Yeah, if I'm River, I'm just gonna play that cool and say, I meant to drop the Herald all the time. So no problem, no problem. It was definitely one of those low-value heralds, didn't get a full tower charge, and wasn't synced up with any objective, but I wasn't that sure of the timer myself, so maybe he just dropped it because it was close to being expired. We have PSG with another overload onto the bot lane, and this is going to force Lee Kai to stay very far back on his tower. He definitely senses some danger right here. Gwen might be solo split pushing on the top side, but the rest of the members are unknown for Machi X, and they have to pay their respects. They finally do spot out Kai Wing on the inner tri ward. They do get the Bone Spear and the auto attack. Really nicely done. River here doesn't have the flash. He might be going down, but the magical journey on the other side of the wall gets him away from the Shock Blast combo, and River lives to tell the tale.
This will be the day you almost caught Captain Jack River, because River has just been absolutely so elusive on this Lee Sin pick. And you might even say he's in line for yet another MVP, but Maple, he could be in trouble.
Yep, we see the gold card going down. He was trying to wait around, but dodges on both of the hard crowd controls, even dodges from the Shock Blast. So that is thumbs up indeed, Maple. Good disaster averted, a massive amount of map priority given over to PSG, given that they know all the positioning of Machi X members. They are going to set up a Death Brush, and in comes the Destiny Gate.
Here's the turn.
Are they going to try to target out this time? Koala is the turn. Everfrost finds him. They get the snipe down, and Gemini gets a very unfortunate Tempered Fate directly onto him. Double kill for Unified and his super acceleration build. This is pretty much a straight lethality build to get as much lethality as possible. We don't even care about mythics and their supposed value. We're just going to roll straight with items as fast as we can get them. PSG take full control of the bottom side. They're also going to get a snipe onto the mid lane tower. Looks like this game is fading away quickly for Machi X, already down by about 6,000 gold and staring onto a live Baron on the map plus the Drake. So Machi X, they have to fight very hard to just get themselves into River at this point.
Yeah, and again, my kind of storyline for this game is how do you stop River without losing too much elsewhere on the map? And the answer this game has been, well, we don't have an answer. So River gets ahead, everyone else also gets pretty ahead here, especially Unified. And while Unified didn't get a bunch of 2v2 kills in lane, this build is just, it's such a cheap build and it does so much damage, and I'd imagine he's going to go for the Prowler's Claw to further amplify the lethality damage he already has. And now it looks like Machi, they're trying to grasp at straws here, but I don't know how many straws they have left to grasp at.
Kaiwing just dodging out on these abilities very easily here. We also saw the Shurelya's Revelry being used on the side of Kaiwing to make sure that Unified stays relatively safe. And we have another collapse. River on the side could deliver a killing blow to any of these backlines. And we see another standard PSG procedure. They fend off the mid-wave push. They have an overloaded side lane. And Hanabi is lurking on the other side of the map with his teleport ready, with his ghost in hand, and just farming up a storm. So Machi X so far have not been able to land a single blow after the towers have went down.
Yeah, Machi X after tower's gone down, just a little bit lost as far as what the next play is going to be. They've been not necessarily fully behind or like clueless as to what the play is going to be, but they've been behind as far as tempo goes, right? They've shown up like 2 seconds after the play has already developed, and that's just way too late against a team like PSG. They will definitely take full advantage of it, and now PSG setting up for their next objective, which at the moment is this Baron buff. But unfortunately for them, they don't exactly have the highest amount of Baron damage, given the fact that it is a lethality Varus and not an on-hit.
Doesn't find anything. Shock Blast takes Unified down to about 2/3.
Decent.
The ward does come down when they need to. Maple is caught out by the Bone Skewer, has to pop. Zania's instantly, but will still survive here. Still a small win coming on the side of Machi X, as they are able to force away a lot of members. Damage still ticking, as we do have Atlan with the Leandri's Anguish putting a bit more damage down. That turret is in satchel range. They're just going to wait for the wave for that to happen. And a rare win coming out from Machi X and their poke composition.
Yeah, and this is where the poke composition will shine, right? Is in these siege scenarios. Instead of just getting picked off across the map, let's just go for the ARAM play. And that moment pays off because they're able to land the poke with the Jace and the Ziggs, but now Jace in trouble.
River, level 13,
there it is.
Finds the Q, goes in, but there is the flash. Everfrost to the back. And that is all. Machi X can't really get a return kill here. They have a lack of engage, and PSG are willing to force things. Temper Fate lands onto 2. Kaiwing going in, misses the Cosmic Bindings, and dies himself, giving the reset to Gemini. Gemini wants to go in, but finds the kit on Bard. Not particularly useful in this situation, and they do have to back out. But that was Machi X once again getting a pretty decent return kill on Kaiwing.
Yeah, and it ends up being 1-for-1 there, and Kaiwing, not exactly the best tempered fates there, but it's just the reality of Bard. Sometimes you're gonna land insane plays, other times you
Maple
flub,
might be
but
the
now
first
Maple.
victim for death from below. He's going really, really low. 650 gold goes down. I don't think they actually got the execute on that one.
Yeah, they didn't get the bonus. Koala ends up not quite laying out. X marks the spot here, but it is going to prompt them to start out this Baron buff. But Unified, if he lands a couple of these arrows, they could easily turn this.
The great find coming in by Machi X. Now they have to fend off River. The ultimate actually misses. Hanabi in position, and that's a 4-man Tempered Fate. River steals the Baron, and this is all over. This has gone so wrong for Machi X. It's an absolute disaster and an easy chase down. Great play from Kaiwing. That was Bar God levels of Tempered Fate coming through.
Yeah, the last play he trolls River. This time he sets River up perfectly.
You are still stunned by that play.
Yeah, and oh my lord.
I can't actually hear you.
Oh.
So I'm just going to keep on casting myself. There might be something wrong on Nightstar's end. As we see the replay, River comes in and does get the snipe.
Hello?
When everyone else on the enemy team is completely staced up. And that's just an easy chase down for Hanabi as he finds the kill across the wall right here. When we get back, PSG already with another 2 towers, rolling it down. And I believe we have lost Nightstar. I'm going to confirm with production right here. But I will carry on with this cast so far. Sorry about the interruptions. PSG River, they also just find the Ocean Soul. And yes, I can hear you. I think you're back.
Oh, okay. Well, man, I'm really disappointed that I didn't get to say my bit about that Bard ult, but, you know, Kylie...
You can say it again.
he was an absolute... He was definitely an absolute god in that moment there. He kind of trolled River in the first play because he Temper Fate him around that mid, but afterwards, that Baron play, absolutely fantastic. And now River is going to be able to steal away a red buff as well. This game feels pretty much done and dusted with how far PSG with this Baron buff are now. So Machi X, they have decent wave clear, but is it enough to sustain against a Baron push while they can prevent the game from ending? It might just be a little bit too much in the wallets.
It is a 5-digit gold lead at this point for PSG. They're barreling down on 2 different lanes, but we see the Realm Warp to catch out members. They're going for Hanabi. He pops the mist, gets out, and no damage is put on them whatsoever. Just that untargetability from outside the mist, allowing him to walk away scot-free. PSG, meanwhile, just get free open access to the mid lane inhibitor. River nearly gets tagged by the Everfrost, but he's going to walk away just in time. Unified also does have the shielding here, the spell shield coming in from the Knight's Edge, so he'll be completely fine coming into this siege. And with the Realm Warp, the main engage, cooldown being blown, everything is up to Koala to find the Bone Skewer, but PSG are going in instead. They catch out Atlan. He has to flash out. River goes in. Satchel Charge bops it out, but he gets the 2-man Dragon's Rage anyway. They find Viego on the front. They get the Ziggs, finish off Jimmy in, and now Likai has nowhere to run. He tries to get the dual 1v1 versus Gwen Hanabi on the top side, but does fall for the solo kill in the very end. And PSG, they turn on the power level, finish off the game with a commanding 15,000 gold lead at the 30-minute mark.
And what a dominating victory here from PSG. Hanabi immediately after the game, I think he just went straight towards the AC because they were absolutely on fire that game. And he's got to find a way to cool themselves off. But River, I think he's in line for yet another MVP because that Lee Sin was an absolute scorcher.
You don't really think of Lee Sin as having consistent engage, but it seems like on River he can do whatever he wants, gets the perfect start of the fight for his teammates, and they're able to clean that one up. Just a dominating game from start to finish in very typical PSG fashion, playing the tempo game to the absolute maximum. And I gotta tell you, Nightstar, I feel like this Twisted Fate, despite it not really being top of the meta, is gonna be a must-ban versus Maple.
Yeah, and if you don't figure out an answer in lane to the TF, Maple will just absolutely take over the map, and that's exactly what happened there. And while Machi, they were able to find plays during the lane phase, it was after the lane phase that was the real issue, right? They just got lost around the map, and PSG, they just continuously dictated the pace. Machi, they didn't figure it out until later on that, oh, we should just group up as 5 and try and push a tower, which worked once, but then after they reset, they became discombobulated again.
It was so hard to actually even set up those sieges, especially against Kaiwing, who had immaculate accuracy on that Tempered Fate, so I can see it from Machi X's edge. Yeah, my Bard doesn't look like that either. I don't play Bard. Bard's like too difficult, you know? I like playing Xin Zhao, Sona, champions like that. They're much more suitable for boomers like me.
Yeah, exactly. No skill shots.
Yeah, skill shots are too hard, man. The only skill shot champion I play is Mundo, and he goes where he pleases, so it's not really a skill shot either. But we'll continue back onto this game rather than our misgivings in our league careers. I'm so sad. But this one was fast-paced. It was incredibly fun, and it almost didn't seem like Machi X had any answers or ways to play it out. Do you think this was just a loss starting from draft, or what do you think was like the breaking moment for the game for them?
I definitely think that draft-wise, it wasn't that bad of a draft because theoretically, like, the Jace is going to be able to hold his own against the Gwen early on because he does have that range matchup, and he's going to be able to scale in a way that he can still contribute to these team fights that isn't going to go straight into a Gwen. So it's not that bad. The Viego, we all know what Viego is able to do. Rise, able to contest that push early on, and then has his own TP the match against the TF. It really was just the fact that they thought they had the tools, but PSG was always one step ahead. And if you're always one step ahead, you never have to look back.
The skirmishes were super one-sided, starting from the Herald contest, and then we saw a bit of a snowball attempt coming in from Koala and his Pike. But throughout the whole game, at maximum, he got 1 extra gold stack out of death from below. I think that was at most he got. So the reset combo definitely not working for him. And of course, the MVP goes to the Bard God himself. 72% kill participation. And that 4-man Temper Fate right in front of the Baron is forever etched into our minds here at the PCS.
Yeah, that 4-man Baron ult was absolutely wild because not only does it lock all 4 members down, it also allows River, with how far ahead he was and how much damage he had already built up, he was actually able to solo the remainder of that Baron HP by himself. So they get themselves all 4 kills, they get themselves a Baron, and it was just, that was the breaking. That was the last straw in that game.
Definitely. You can't even stop smites from coming down through hard CC, but if you take them out of the game completely in stasis, then you've got the trick done. So definitely a game-winning play there. Really, really nicely done. That's going to be it for this game. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be coming back with another dose of Beyond Gaming, this time against Impunity in their second game of the day.